Hi, I'm Julianne Hartman, and welcome to Heart to Heart. And today I have a wonderful guest on my show. This is Dara Fiss, and Dara is an organizer.
That's right.
Woo! Who doesn't need to get organized in their life?
Everybody does. In some
Yes.
way, shape, or form, they need organization. It's really, really important.
A lot of our viewers are writing in and asking questions, and they're giving comments about the show. And that's what the show's about, is to bring the viewers in so that we can answer questions for them. Well, I've heard time and time again, how do I get organized? What do I do? I'm a stay-at-home mom. I'm a working mom. My office is a mess. So today I want to talk about stay-at-home moms, working moms. What do we do? How do we organize all of this?
Well, the most important thing is to decide what's important to you. So, for some people, it's organizing the kids and the kids' activities and then all the papers that come home from school and, making dinner and all those things. And for some people, it's, I can have a good handle on my schedule. I have everything outlined on a calendar. My son goes here, my daughter goes there. I got it nailed down. I don't know what to do with all the stuff in my house. And it just keeps growing and growing and growing. So you have to decide what's important to you. And once you decide what's important to you, then you can start narrowing down how to get organized. So for example, let's say you're not one of those moms that can organize all those activities. You want a family message center. And that could be a bulletin board, it could be a dry erase board or something that's in a central location that everybody can see who's doing what when. So that way, if there's a new activity that comes up, it's so easy to see what's going on and you don't have to go, oh, I forgot today was picture day. I forgot today was the big game. And then people know what's going on. And start the kids young, even from preschool, and you can color code so that even if they can't read yet, you can color code and, Abby, blue is for you, purple is for Annie, and you're going to put on the date what you need to do, and it gets the family involved from a very young age, and it helps them help you keep on top of things.
Okay, so I have a question because I tried that, and but I like my house to look a certain way, and so I couldn't find something that I could post up, that I could put up that was pretty enough.
That was pretty, right.
Okay, do you get that?
Yes,
a lot?
all the time. There are a few things. Places like Costco and Pottery Barn and things like that have beautiful message centers. But again, they're pretty. They've got the nice oak frames and things like that. But then when you come up with the writing everywhere, you don't always want that in your kitchen or wherever. So you find an inconspicuous spot that's still a very common area. For example, if you have a service porch going out to your garage, you can hang it on the door right out to the garage, especially if you're using your garage for your cars and not your stuff. If that's what you're doing, you can do it there where it's not in a decorative part of your home. You can do things inside of cabinets. So if you have a tall pantry, you can put something inside the cabinet and they open up the cabinet door and there it is. So it's still a very common area, but then you don't have to worry about, oh, this is so ugly.
Right,
Where are you going to do it?
When you have company over.
And another thing that keeps that looking more organized is when those flyers come home that are bright yellow and bright green and bright pink. What I recommend you do is put it in your calendar right away. I'm a big fan of Google Calendar because you can access it from anywhere. You can even get your kids on it. Everybody's schedule is on there. So if you put it in there, and then also you have it on your family calendar, you toss that paper. Same thing with invitations. Those invitations that come in the mail and for the birthday parties and things like that, immediately put it on the calendar, what time it starts and ends, who it's for and the place. Throw away the paper as soon as you can, and that way you don't have all the unattractive sticky notes and things like that all over the place and the invitations and those things cluttering up your space. So that makes it look that much more attractive in and of itself.
Well, I noticed that, for instance, like with my kids, they're a little bit older now. They're 12 and 15, so they have their own Google calendars. But still, I have to still remember, certain things. But I know that when they were little, it was really exciting for them to be able to go to that board and, mark their space, whatever it was. And then you got to not give them a treat like a dog, but, you give them something, some kind of reward to say, wow, hey, Sophia, look, you wrote on your calendar today all the things that, that came home in your backpack that you need to do. And I think that works out really nice.
It really works out. And my little one is so funny because she's really big on, hey, Mom, can we clean out my closet today? Or, hey, Mom, can we do this? And she's big on stickers. And especially with the younger children, stickers are cheap and easy, and they love them. And so it could be, hey, great, you filled this out. Here's your sticker, and you get so many stickers, and here's a bigger prize. There are so many different things you can do. And the more positive reinforcement you give them now, the greater reward they're going to have later, because not only is it going to stick,
Right.
but they're going to become more organized teenagers and adults.
What's the most common question asked of you?
The most common question I have asked me, especially for families, is what do I do with all the paper that comes into my house? The mail, the schoolwork,
right.
the business papers. My husband comes home and drops stuff on the counter. What do I do with it? And how do I organize that? And where do I organize that? Because everybody wants things quick and easy. We're in such a fast-paced, rushed society that it's extremely, extremely important to know where you're putting things. And you don't want that pile to fall over when you're walking in the door. So usually what I do, I look around at the house and I get to know my clients a little better, and I try to tailor something that works for them. And then if it doesn't work, we tweak it. But a lot of times it might be just getting a decorative basket that you put in the hallway. It might be one bin that you put on the kitchen counter that doesn't look ugly, that really conceals it. And then the really most important thing is when you get the mail and you get, like I said, those papers from school, and toss what you don't need. Right. Immediately. When you walk in the door, the first thing you do is walk over that recycle bin and throw it away. Or put that date in and then throw it away, because that way you're managing that clutter. And that's the biggest question I have more often than not, is what do I do with all this stuff? And then the other thing that you can do with all the kids' schoolwork and things is, if you don't have to save it for a particular reason, you don't have an IEP, which is, for those of you that don't know, for children that might have a special educational plan.
Okay.
If you don't need it for that, if you don't need the records to have a conference with the teacher, then what I recommend you do is take a picture of it with your child the day they make that project. So it's right there. Take a close-up of the art project, and then you have the art project displayed for a little while, and then you can let it go, because they do not survive even in the nice containers and things like that. They don't survive over the years, and that way it's always preserved. There's always going to be one or two that you just have to keep, and that's okay. But if you keep every single art project that your child makes from age 2 to 18, you're going to need a new house.
Well, I've done that. And I go through, a process of elimination at times, but there's some I can't let go of.
You just can't let go.
But I like that, taking a picture. I never would have thought of that. Would you think of that? I wouldn't have.
Yeah,
that's good.
And you can do a photo book. You can have, in fact, I'm in the process of creating for my daughter for last school year. I laid out all of her artwork, all of her special projects from school, not just artwork, but posters or things like that, and her awards, and now I'm putting together a photo book. And so I have a second grade photo book for my daughter that has snapshots of the highlights of her year, including all that stuff she put so much effort into. And she does not feel upset when something goes.
Right.
And I have her included. You have to have the kids included, because otherwise they'll feel like you're sneaking around.
Right. Or you don't really care.
Or you
about
don't care,
their work.
and it's not that. It's you have to have
order.
A new house, and you have to have order.
Yes.
But it's okay to have a box or two of keepsakes for, or even 3, depending on how big the box is.
Okay, so that's what I asked you.
Things.
How big can those boxes be?
You have to look at what your storage is in the house. For some people, it could be the 36-gallon container, and you can have all 18 years in there. For some people, they need 3 of them. You have to think about what you want to use your time and space for in your house. And the reason why I say time is because all that stuff takes time to go through, and it takes time to figure out how you're going to store it. And if it's going to get in the way of something that you need later, then you got to think, what am I going to do? So you have to put a limit on things, and every year review it, because it might be something that's really important to you now. It's not that important next year.
It's kind of like the Christmas ornaments. I mean, there's some that were really nice, and then there's some that were just so not nice, and just a paper or something, no picture, nothing, and you go, I really need to put this on the tree every year. And then my daughter, as she gets older, goes, Mom, why do you still have that on the tree?
Yeah, exactly. So, and then, that can become sentimental in and of itself, because that's now a joke. But even with Christmas ornaments, you got to think about what's important for you to have long term. If it's that special porcelain ornament that you had from when you were a child, you need to save that. But if it's, the Mickey Mouse thing from one of your trips to Disneyland that you thought was cute because you want a Disney-themed tree this year, you don't necessarily have to save those. And what I would also say is, the holidays are upon us.
Right.
And there's all of the decorations and everything in the stores. And you need to think about, before you go out and buy something new, think about what you have. Because what I have more often than not is especially moms, they have me come in, they have me organize all their stuff and say, I paid so much money for this. I hate it, but I paid so much money for it, and I just can't get rid of it. I can't get myself to do it. Well, it's costing you more in anxiety and your emotions and everything and space than it did for the price of it. And so you can always eBay it if it was expensive and it's still in good condition. You can give it to somebody who might value it. You can give it to somebody who's needy, that maybe they don't have a lot of money for nice decorations.
Right.
There's so many different things that you can do that is better. I have lots of clients that have me come organize their decorations before and after, and we have to label everything. And some people like to rotate themes. So in which case, you're going to have a lot of stuff. But again, you need to think about if that's something you want to do, what's the time and space that you have to store all that stuff. I do not recommend storage units. I think they're a waste of money. So you want to manage it within your home as much as possible.
Do you really need all that for that you'd have to have a storage unit?
Exactly. You're never going to look at everything.
Right.
You really
and that's another thing too, is that you wonder. I mean, I don't really have anything from my childhood. Maybe I think I have a little bear, but that's it. And I don't think I missed out in life because I didn't have my drawings that I drew when I was 5.
And most people are that way.
Yeah, so you got to look at kind of a bigger picture and go, okay, they may want it now, but are you really going to want it in 20 years?
Well, and think about it. How many of us, our parents saved all these things, and then you graduate college, you get your first apartment, and your parents give you a box of stuff and say, here, this is all your stuff. Well, no, I wanted that, but I don't have room for it. Well, if it's not important enough to have with you at that moment, it's probably not important enough to keep long term.
Right.
And that's what you need to think about. And that's why you get the kids involved, because if they're involved now with that decision making, you'll notice over the years as they mature, more stuff is going to get let go. And it's okay. I think you should save that one bear, or you should save some of those things that have just such special meaning. But make sure that it's stuff you always want to have with you.
Right. I think, well, for instance, we'll take the bear. His name is Itzy, by the way. Anyway, he was given to me when I was 9 months old, but it's not, I don't look at him as, oh, I have an emotional attachment, because I really don't remember holding the bear. But what I look at it as is, wow, look how old it is. I'm 48 years old. It's 48 years old and it held up. I think that's more of it.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah, and my kids actually think that's kind of cute. I was like, oh, Mom, because they don't think of me as a little kid. They think of me as a mother.
Right.
Oh, Mom, that you carried that little bear, Stuff like that, I think, is important. Pictures, too. Now,
absolutely.
Let me ask you a question. What do you do with all the pictures?
There are different things that you need to do with the pictures, and one of them is, again, go through them regularly. You don't have to put them in albums. You can, digital is great because, again, you can do those photo books. You can get hundreds of pictures in a smaller space than you can with the photo albums. I'm a big fan of digitizing, having them backed up on CDs and things like that. There is something to be said for holding that old picture from the 1920s of your grandparents, but they're falling apart. And once they fall apart, you're not able to share them with your children and your grandchildren. So you really need to, find a way to preserve them. And the best way to do that is digitizing. So you got to look at how you're going to organize it. I always recommend that you label dates and places. And then, there are pictures of, your daughter's classmates and things. Are you ever going to really want those again?
I know.
I say, you can save them for a while and see how the friendships develop, because it's nice for her to have pictures from when the friendships began. But then you can look at later, maybe these are people you're never going to talk to again.
But what if they're become really big stars?
You got to think of time and space and what you want to do, and that happens.
Yeah, and you're like, hey, I've got a picture of me. He was 5 years old.
But imagine, are you going to think back to know where to find that picture when he was 5 years
No,
old?
I know.
Right.
Well, listen, Dara, I just want to thank you so much for coming on the show, because I hope that helped you. We are going to do a part 2 because there's more to this. There is the whole home office thing. People are now bringing their businesses in their homes, and therefore their homes are just, crazy.
Absolutely.
Papers everywhere. Kind of like mine. I hate to bring you to my house and show you my desk. But thank you so much for joining us. Remember, if you have any questions, please do so. You know where to go on the website, comments, anything. Dara's company is Management and Organization Solutions. We will have that on the website as well for you to go check out. She is located in Los Angeles, but she can always, answer questions for you too. So thank you for joining us. From my heart to yours, this is Julianne Hartman and Dara Fiss saying we'll see you soon.
Thank you.